I'm here live at the Republican National Convention. This is Tyler O'Neill, managing editor at the Daily Signal. I'm joined by Cenk Uygur, who is the founder of the Young Turks. It's great to have you on the show.
Thank you, Tyler. Appreciate it.
So I saw you reacting very strongly to, obviously, the news on Saturday. And I wanted to unpack a little bit of what you saw there and what you think it means for American politics.
Yeah. Well, look, I think the violent rhetoric is really damaging. And honestly, I think the Republicans have done it way more, like infinitely more. But this affected President Trump, and it was a disaster. And I think it's any form of violence is intellectual surrender. That's saying, I cannot beat you with my ideas, so I give up. I'll just do violence instead. And I loathe it. I think it's the worst thing that could happen in this country because it'll tear us apart. So I hate it if it happens to Trump. I hate it if it happens to any Democrat like Gabby Giffords. And so we've got to get out of this mindset of if I don't agree with someone, I have to shoot them. That is not the right answer. And now that it's happened to President Trump, I hope that the entire right wing sees this is not the answer. And I thought Trump acted brave. And that was an amazing moment there, not just in this campaign, but let's be honest, in American history. So when Trump raises his head and fist and says, fight, 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 that is a brave moment I did not expect from Trump. And then when the crowd started chanting USA, USA, I got proud. I got proud of this country, and I got proud of that moment that he survived it. He was brave, and that was his audience saying, we love you, brother, and thank you for still fighting for us.
You know, it heartens me so much to hear you say that, because many on the left have been saying that when Trump said fight, 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 that was riling up. You know, they're comparing that to the Proud Boys. They're comparing that to January 6th.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I've seen so many people, whether it's in mainstream media or on the left, saying crazy things like it was staged. You're really going to stage somebody shooting you in the ear? And if they miss by a centimeter, you're dead?
Yeah.
Are you insane? Who would stage that, right? That's just nuts, right? And then they said, he has to cool down the rhetoric. Brother, he just got shot, okay? Like, when you get shot, you're allowed to say anything you want, okay? And so I would have said worse. So I think they're just in la-la land when they don't just acknowledge the simple thing of, this brother's been shot, and here he is standing back up and saying to his crowd, it's okay, and we fight on. I think that was his best moment in his life.
Yeah.
And so if you can't acknowledge that, you just don't live in the reality-based world.
And so you've been here at the RNC, you watched, union leader take the stage yesterday. What do you think of this current iteration of the Republican Party? Is it the same party that you've so often railed against, or is it changing?
Well, jury's out. So far it's fake populism, in my opinion. Okay. I don't think they mean it. I think they're going to do the same thing they did in the first term, which is giant tax cuts for corporations. And they're going to serve corporate rule. They're going to crush the average American worker. On the other hand, inviting Sean O'Brien to speak was bold, courageous, and a really smart move by Trump. And these are things, look, I'm not changing. People think like, oh, wait, are you going towards MAGA or are you going towards Trump? No, I'm just acknowledging reality. That moment for Trump during the assassination attempt was super brave. Anyone who says otherwise is crazy, okay? And inviting Sean O'Brien to give this speech at the RNC is definitely bold and definitely smart, okay? Because what it does is it at least neutralizes the advantage the Democrats have with union and labor, where now people are going to be like, I don't know who's for labor. Is it the Republicans? They had a keynote speech from the Teamsters president, or is it the Democrats? So strategically, politically, that's very smart. But I'm curious what you thought, because Sean O'Brien gave the most progressive speech I've ever seen at the RNC or DNC. I think that was more progressive than Bernie Sanders. So what did you think of the speech?
Well, I don't agree, but I'm not a fan of unions in general, especially public sector unions. Now, I think they did some great things for this country back in the day, and I love the fact that we have weekends, and the fact that we have protections in. I've read my history. I know what the Industrial Revolution was like for workers. It was not good. And I'm glad that we had that progress. I just think right now, unions are part of the system that's propping up the elites. And I see.
I don't agree at all. And I hear you. I understand. But that's why the invitation of Sean O'Brien was bold.
Yeah. Oh,
Right.
yeah. It was
And-
very bold.
Yeah. And, I mean, he spoke in a way that the average American understands and relates to. And I said afterwards, look, you put Sean Fain, who's the head of the UAW, and Sean O'Brien on a ticket. I don't care which party they're in. I'll vote for them. Okay? Because a lot of
Yeah.
people are partisans. They're loyalists. So
Right.
they're obsessed with the R or the D, right? And they're like, oh, my God, if he's a Republican, we have to support Republicans. But wait a minute. Republicans and Democrats have switched sides before. So which side are you supporting? Right?
Yeah.
Do you care at all about policy? Or is this just a game to you, right? So that's why I don't care if they're called Republicans or Democrats. I care about policy. So one thing that Trump has done in actually changing the party a little bit is he's made it a little bit more anti-war. And that's a great
Yeah.
development, okay? So now I'd like to see him carry through on that. I know he says he brags about how there was peace when he was president, but he droned tons of countries, and so did Biden, so did Obama, etc. Moving our embassy, killing the Iranian general, were all provocative acts that could have caused a much bigger war. So I'll believe it when I see it. He's constantly provoking. But even the rhetoric of being anti-war is positive, right?
Yeah.
Because the wars have drained this country. It's drained of us of our best men and women who are supposed to protect us and defend us. Instead, they're going to fight offensive wars to help out defense contractors and oil companies and bankers get rich. Okay, I'm not interested in that. And the fact that Trump has at least convinced Republicans that Bush and Cheney were wrong about the Iraq War is great. It's wonderful, right? So, but 9 out of 10 times he doesn't deliver. So what I would ask your audience is please verify what Trump says he's doing. So,
Yeah.
like, if he says he's protecting workers at a plant, check back in a month and see if that's actually what happened. Because oftentimes he'll make a big deal. Oh, my God, I'm not going to let them move, and I'll do this, and I'll do that. And then a month later, they ship out 8,000 jobs to Mexico, and he doesn't do anything about it, right?
Yeah.
If you actually deliver on protecting average American workers, progressives are open-minded. Maybe loyalists to Democrats who are corporatists and just want to serve their donors, they're not open-minded. Both corporate Republicans and corporate Democrats will always serve their donors. But progressives are open-minded. But you got to actually deliver. And so Trump has barely ever done that.
What have you seen from Biden in terms of policy that you may not like, that is supporting the elites against, the working class?
So Biden's a real mixed bag when it comes to policy. I'm against him because he's too old. He can't run this race. He's, his approval ratings in the 30s. It's impossible to recover.
Do you want Kamala to invoke the 25th?
No, I don't want that.
Okay.
I want Biden to drop out of the race. I want them to have an open convention, and I don't want Kamala Harris anointed. The Democratic leadership, honestly, is a bunch of chuckleheads. They don't know what they're doing. They're getting their asses kicked by Trump, who I don't think is that bright to begin with. But they say that all the time. They say, oh, Trump, he's so dumb and crazy. Well, then how come he's kicking your ass again, right? So, okay,
Why
I
does he
agree with you.
resonate?
Trump's dumb and crazy. So what does that make you, right? You lost to him with Hillary Clinton when you told us, oh, she's a guaranteed win, and now you're getting annihilated with Joe Biden. When I told you I ran against Joe Biden because I'm like, he's going to lose.
Yeah.
He's going to lose. What's wrong with you guys? So Democratic leadership is not very bright, and they're also corrupt. So the DNC hired by Joe Biden, if there's a different candidate, they might lose their jobs. So they're just trying to protect their own jobs and their own salaries and their own power instead of caring about the Democratic voters or Americans overall. So I got 1,000 problems with the DNC, and I would never anoint Kamala Harris. But if they have an open convention, it's been done for hundreds of years. It's no big deal. They would pick the strongest candidates, and they would still win. They have a chance to win right now if they pick 2 young, dynamic Democrats to oppose Trump, because Trump's not that popular. I know, in the right wing world, he's like a messiah, but there's over 50% of the country, depending on the poll, all the way up to 55% of the country that loathes him, that hates him. And by the way, if the Democrats can't beat a guy who 55% of the country hates, What are we doing here? What are we doing? And then they get mad at me. They're like, oh, look at Cenk. He's being so mean to us. He wants to win so much. Yeah, of course.
Right.
Is that your job?
You're believing the policy. You want to win.
Yes, I want to win. So in terms of Biden on policy, though, so politically he's a disaster, okay? But on policy, he's a mixed bag. From my perspective, he did some good things on climate change. He did a corporate minimum tax of 15%. Now, that was pushed by the international community, OECD, so he kind of had to do it, but he did do it. I'll give him credit for that. And some of the bills that they passed, infrastructure is good. It's going to get internet to rural areas, connect them to the rest of the country, and they desperately need that, rebuilding bridges and roads. But it hasn't happened yet. It's going to happen, but it's not going to help him in the election. So policy good, politics hasn't caught up to it. Now, on the other hand, his policy on Israel, I hate it. And I think that he funded the genocide in Gaza. And today, in an interview that came out today at least, he said that no one's been better to the Palestinians than him. It's absurd.
No recent American president, right? But
yeah, that's absurd. It's absurd. How does he not see it?
So, some of us might say he's been nice to Hamas by allowing Iran to get more money, but that's opening another can of worms.
That's a giant. That's going to lead to a bigger war, brother. It's going to lead. So, like, I hate the mullahs in Iran. I'm in what they would consider an apostate. Okay, I was Muslim and now I'm an atheist. Okay, so I'm number one on the hit list. Okay,
yeah, you're
so
pretty
I
high
don't
up
want
there.
any mullah ever in charge. No one is against Muslim theocracy more than I am. But to be fair, I'm against Christian theocracy, Jewish theocracy, any kind of theocracy. I don't want it. Okay,
I'm not a fan of theocracy either.
So, but when we go and agitate Iran by bombing them, taking their money, and remember, it's not our money. We froze their assets. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and by the way, that hurts our system because now people are going, hey, I don't want to put money into America because anytime there's trouble, they freeze my assets. So they did it to Iran, they did it to Russia. Forget it. I'm going to go take my money elsewhere. Okay.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah. So my point is, the Iranian people already hate the mullahs, and like there's a rebellion / revolution that's fomenting there. Let's not get in the way, because the minute you drop a bomb on Iran, they're all going to become nationalists, and they're going to want to. It's going to help the Ayatollah. It's going to help the mullahs, and it's going to hurt America. We're going to waste trillions of dollars. It's 4 times the size of Iraq. Don't go anywhere near Iran. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, I think their stranglehold is so strong. I mean, I don't think that if we were to drop the sanctions more, it would lead to a bigger revolution against them.
So I think that, look, we're probably going to disagree on this, but the Obama deal I thought was terrific. Why did I think it was terrific? Because it got the uranium out of Iran. The main problem with Iran.
But how did it guarantee it? Yeah.
No, but they had safeguards. They met the safeguards. They were following through, and then Trump came in, and that's another thing that agitated towards war. Why tear up a peace deal that is totally working? They had no nuclear capability, and then once he tore up the deal, now they have nuclear capability.
How do we know they have no nuclear capability? Are you not taking their word for that?
No, it's not about taking their word. We had international watchdogs that would go inside Iran, go inside their facilities. Now we don't. Now they're totally unaccountable because we ripped up the peace deal. When you rip up a peace deal, you get conflict, you get fights that could lead to war. So we had a great deal. We should have just stuck with the deal. And they were complying. Look, when we go to do peace, we cannot do peace with our friends. We're already at
you got to do peace with your
enemies.
enemies.
With your
of
enemies,
course.
right? And the thing is, get out of the way. They're going to get toppled by their own people. But the more we agitate them, the more that their people will naturally rally around the flag. Because, Tyler, think about it. So the Iranians leadership doesn't like us either, right? And so maybe their people might, our people are split about Trump, Biden, etc. But if Iran attacked us, we'd all rally around the flag. And we'd go, let's go kick their ass and let's support whoever's president, right?
I mean,
they're
I'm not
think
even
the same
sure.
Way.
Lincoln barely won in 1864. Like, I don't know if rallying around the flag means the same thing. But anyway, I think we need to go. Thank you so much for joining us, Cenk. It's been a pleasure. And
no problem.
Hope you enjoy the convention.
Thank you. Appreciate it.